What a night in the Stanley Cup qualifiers. And by this time tomorrow, we may know all 8 qualifying teams that are advancing to the Stanley Cup playoffs. Teal Town After Dark starts right now. Good evening, everyone. It is Thursday night, August 6, 2020. Oh my, what a night in the Stanley Cup qualifiers. And the big teams are facing elimination. Unreal. But this is what it's all about. You know, those lower seeds can change and make everything go crazy. Welcome to this edition of Teal Town After Dark. We've been doing this nightly, except for one night in the Stanley Cup qualifiers. And if you want to be a part of the show, here's how you do it. Join us and fellow Sharks fans, and hey, all of hockey, join in. Tell all your hockey friends, even if they are Vegas fans, to join us in the YouTube chat, on the page or the app. Follow us on the social, all those down below. I mean, please make sure to tell all your friends about it. And for more Sharks content, check us out at tealtownusa.com. Hi, everyone. Oh, that is not a pretty sight. That's better. Hi, everyone. Eric Curra here. Wow, what a night. I mean, we had surprising shutouts. We had reminiscing of 2013. My goodness, it's one of those things where it's going to just be like, ooh, lordy, it's got you speechless. But hey, you know what? We have Stanley Cup playoff action coming and everything. It's something special. Zach, good evening to you, sir. I hope you saw my Twitter post. Did you tell the Jets to stay out of the penalty box? Dubois is something special. Yeah, he put in a performance tonight like nothing else. Felix Chow saying, who had Scheifele and Laine getting injured in the Winnipeg-Calgary series? Was that Calgary's way to get it done? We'll see. Will it work in round one? That'll remain to be seen. So, oh boy, it's the NHL. It's the parody of the NHL. At this point, I don't know. I just do not know. I mean, we'll get to all the games, and I'm really looking forward to. I'm trying to look up something that I put in our Discord. Yep, there we go. Yeah, it's crazy. Calgary is the 8th seed, most likely, barring Edmonton and Nashville coming back, will most likely play the 3 seed, which will be either Dallas or St. Louis. So Calgary will be moving on. But let's get to all the games tonight in the Stanley Cup qualifiers. We'll begin with Vancouver versus Minnesota Montreal. That would have been an interesting alignment. 3-0 shutout for Jacob Markstrom. Really looked good. And let's be real here, folks. That's a contract making game for him. Really a great show all around. Markstrom makes 27 saves. He had, Brock Besser and Elias Pettersson. Your big guys do their thing. Antoine Roussel, who's supposed to be a bleep disturber, comes in with some blazing speed and beats Alex Stalock. The question now is, going into tomorrow's Game 4, do we see Stalock? Or do we go back you go back to Devin Dubnyk? I don't know. It's going to be one of those things. Quinn Hughes had a nice night. Markstrom, Quinn, Hughes, and Pettersson were your 3 stars of the night. I mean, Vancouver dominated pretty much every stat except for hits and maybe face-off percentage in there. They really dictated the play throughout the night, and it like in Skylar, you hit it right on the head. Vancouver, Minnesota was physical as hell. Stalock keep getting checked by the Canucks over and over. It seems like this is the theme of the playoffs. It started out with Carolina and New York with a game run, how intense that was, and it seems like it just spilled over to everywhere else. And maybe that's what is going on with in the bubble, is that people are running into each other, so you're seeing all that happening. So, it's one of those things where it's more physical. Definitely seeing a lot of people get hurt. You also are seeing a lot of pucks going off of players into the net. It's crazy. Felix, the Wild are the most their team playoffs. That's why they're called the Minnesota Mild. So there's that. We'll move on to Washington and Philly. I mean, Flyers looking pretty solid. They have a chance to win the round robin in the Eastern Conference with the number 1 seed. Flyers, Montreal, perhaps? Just saying. It's looking like that. You have Hayes, Lawton, Sanheim, up 3-0. The Caps get something late in there. But again, are some of these round robin games, are they really considering it preseason? It's like, well, we don't really need to go for the 4 seed, 3 seed, or 2 seed, or the 1 seed. We're already in. It's just a warm up to get us ready for round 1. And Skylar, you're going with the same thing. Do you go with Stalock? Crap, or Dubnyk? Decisions. They both have Northern California ties. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Stalock had a brief stint with the Stockton Thunder. I know Dubnyk was when it was the Edmonton ECHL affiliate. So there's that. Felix, you're right. It has been a physical playing round. Definitely has been. So it is. Dallas and Boston need to wake up. Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely. Flyers won that one 3-1 on this night. And then there was the if it weren't for Toronto and Columbus, this would have been the game of the day. Vegas against St. Louis. It was a crazy wild game. Blues were up, then the Golden Knights came back, then the Blues came back, and then the Golden Knights just had a clinic in the third period. Like, seriously. I think at one time with like a few minutes left in the game, Vegas was out shooting St. Louis 10-0 with like 5 minutes to go in regulation. And St. Louis was hanging in there, and then Mark Stone gets a goal, and then Shea Theodore gets a goal to finish off the victory for them to make it 6-4. Vegas looks like they're ready to roll. What a shock! Vegas is ready to roll. So, Skylar mentioning in the chat, VGK and St. Louis forgetting how to play defensive goaltending. See, that's the thing. It didn't seem like there was much physicality in there, and you would think there was, considering how physical they were to the Sharks in last year's playoffs. That there'd be some other shenaniganery going on, but it really wasn't. I mean, yeah, there were some hits, but nothing like, Minnesota, Vancouver, definitely not Calgary, Winnipeg. It just seems like the play-in rounds are kind of like chill. You're playing, Careless Whisperer, and the people and the teams that are in the qualifier are like seek and destroy. Am I right? So, Skylar asking, what will you do, Buckeye, if Pete DeBoer wins the Stanley Cup with Vegas in 2020? I'll cry. I will legitimately cry. Um, because it's sad that Vegas got the hand me downs that they got. They got all the lucky wishes, the silver spoons, whatever you want to call it. And the best part, people are gonna still be shocked about this. They don't have to, submit an exposure list for the expansion draft. They get to keep their team together. You know. Forgive me, while going solo, I'm going to have to take some water breaks, so forgive me all. Like a Tiger, good evening to you. Um, N. Hernandez, guys, are the Sharks going to try to get Ehlers? There's been speculation about that. That, an idea of moving some of the contracts would be like sending one of the defensemen over to Winnipeg to get some help. Nikolai Ehlers, I know Jerk and AJ like him. Friend of the show, Gentry. That's I know he's enjoyed them too. Uh, Nothing's set in stone. And speaking of Winnipeg here tonight, as we'll talk as we transition to them, as they go home 3-0. The concern I've had about, or excuse me, 4-0 because of the 2 empty netters. Excuse me. The concern I've had about Winnipeg and their injuries, Laine and Scheifele, and even Ehlers looked like he was banged up near the end on one of the empty netters, is that this is happening on August 6th. Now, if this is happening on August 6th, what on earth, if it's a devastating injury, it's a devastating injury. If that's the case, the season starts in December. Yeah, you got 4 months to recover, but oh man, you got a lot of pressure to. I just think if something happens to any of these teams that keep going forward and they have a devastating injury, they're going to have maybe a month and a half, 2.5 months to recover for the next season. It's just crazy chaos, and that's exactly what COVID happened. So that's kind of what you expect here. And it's a tough one. So if you're just joining us, hi everyone. We're recapping the night in the Stanley Cup qualifiers. I am Eric Curra. You can follow me at PuckGuy14. You can also join us on Teal USA. Hit us up on our social channels: Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, SoundCloud, Reddit, our Discord, all at Tealtown USA, and of course on the website at tealtownusa.com, where we had a special investigative post about Fanatics and their autograph fake merchandise. We'll get into that a little bit later in our wraparound segment. So I would never want to root for injuries, Skylar, because that's just karma. And considering what happened with the Sharks this year, we don't need to happen anything worse. Let's see. So Calgary finishes off the Jets 4-0. Unfortunately, I think you saw after game 1 that the Jets were out of it. When you lose, or I should say, take out 2 of your best players, it's going to hurt. And it hurt the Jets because Connor Hellebuck can do only so much. And that team needs help. The Jets need help. I don't think it's Paul Maurice, so don't get going on that. I think they need some more supportive players and supportive players that will help achieve what they need. They did a heck of a job with what they had for a defense when they traded Trouba to the Rangers. Suddenly had Bufflin retire, and it doesn't help. Like Zach, you said, Calgary played dirty. Sorry, yeah, no, they came out and did their thing, and if things serve right, Calgary, I believe, will play St. Louis. So Calgary becomes the first qualifying team out of the West to advance. In that case, and at the moment they would play St. Louis. If everything serves right, the West would look like this. And mind you, this is not concrete. Let me emphasize this. And I'm not going to do in Rocket's voice because she does it way better than mine. If things stay the way they are and the teams with the series leads go on to win, here's what the West is going to look like. Remember, we reseed when we go into each round. Number 1, Vegas would take on number 12, Chicago. Number 2, Colorado, at the moment, would take on the Arizona Coyotes. Number 3, St. Louis, would take on number 8, Calgary. And number 4, Dallas, would take on number 7, Vancouver, in that sense. In the East, as we transition over to the East, if things stay the same, Tampa Bay would be number 1, taking on number 12, Montreal. Both 12 teams could advance. Philadelphia, who's looked really sharp, and they did a great job against Washington, would go up against Columbus, the number 9 seed. Number 3, Washington, would take on the Islanders, number 7 seed. Boston, number 4, would take on Carolina in a rematch of the Eastern Conference Final from last year. So that's it. West is more so kind of settled. With Vegas beating St. Louis today, it sets up the showdown on Saturday between Vegas and Colorado. The winner of that game will get the number 1 seed in the West. The loser will get number 2. And I believe, I forget when St. Louis and Dallas will play, but the winner of that game will get the number 3 seed. The loser will get number 4. So real talk. Every time I see the Lucic hit, someone, or the time our Cooch made Lucic fry. that's how the song where his face was. Oh yeah, that was great. Opening night of the 2015-16 season, and Lucic is so mad. Yeah, no, that was great. And it was a great clean hit by Couture, and I mean that's the thing. Lucic will get off his game, but Lucic also scores. He turns out to get the game-winning goal in this one. So Calgary moves on. Winnipeg goes home. I'm just surprised by that. So, Zach, I'm going to have to correct you on that as we get into the Leafs game. May I add, the Leafs get eliminated. They do not have the first-round pick. It goes to Carolina. The catch with that is that it's top 10 protected. So if the Leafs lose to Columbus tomorrow night or in Game 5, if they get the number 1, number 9, or number 10 picks, they keep it. They'll send the 2021 first-round pick over to Carolina. Now, do we all know why they send a number 1 pick over to Carolina? It was in the Patrick Marleau trade where Carolina eventually bought him out. But wait, there's more. There's more to that. So Carolina traded a first-round pick to the Rangers for Brady Shea. They turn it into that. That's the funny thing. Is that Brady Shea is a Carolina Hurricane. A number 1 pick goes back to the Rangers. So depending on where the picks end up, Carolina could be sending, one of them. Will be sending one of them to the Rangers, if it's their own or if it's the pick from Toronto. Obviously, if it's top 10, it'll be the Carolina pick. So. N. Hernandez. Buckeye, I need 2020 to end. Seeing Dilly as a Cap, Goodrow in Tampa, and Mr. San Jose in a Penguins uniform. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, we're putting together a third jersey draft. We kind of did this last year, and one of the graphics we had to make was Pittsburgh's third jersey, and it's weird to see Patrick Marleau in a yellow jersey with a yellow helmet on his head. Just looks weird. Just looks weird. You know what's also weird? You know what's also weird? Is seeing deja vu all over again for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Oh my god. You're up 3-0 in, shades of 4-1 to Boston in 2013 and countless other times. And and Torts, heck of a move, calls timeout, goes from Korpisalo to Elvis Merkleikens. And let's be honest here, folks. That's why you have a goaltending tandem. You don't do the Archer's Urbe thing where Kevin Constantine, I think, put him out like 78 games in an 84-game season and then had him play all 14 playoff games in 1994. You need that backup plan. Tuukka Rask is the same thing. Antoine Khudobin in Dallas. But the Leafs, oh man. I was just seeing, I know Steve Dangle just posted his LFR just now, and just seeing, well, at least it is the most embarrassing loss for the Leafs this year. And then you think, they lost, and I can't say it because there's people out in here that are trying to sleep. They lost to a 42-year-old Zamboni driver who works for them. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you could say that, Felix, so we can say the Leafs effed up and Torts made a good coaching move. Yeah, I think it's both. He inspired Pierre Dubois in the other night during the game where he was telling him to bust his butt, among other things. And sure enough, he gets a hat trick. He starts leading the team to get them back into the game. They tie it. And then he wins it after his defense breaks up a potential shot by John Tavares. It's like, oh my gosh. When, not if, when the Lawyers lose tomorrow. Wow. We're already calling that. Do you think it's time for the Leafs to have the Leafs? The Oilers to have a blowout sale, get rid of everyone? No, I can't see it. I think they get one more year before things start changing. They lost to Dubois, who's now one of the owners of the Leafs. They lost to a guy who apparently, according to Wikipedia, owns the Leafs. Oh man, I mean that Leafs one. And once they got that first goal going, it was like all of a sudden it's kind of like a slow replication of Sharks and Knights Game 7. Although there was like half a game left, not half a period. It's just unbelievable how that happened. But Columbus did it last year against Tampa. I think it was in Game 1 and never looked back in that series. Now, that being said, the Leafs play tomorrow against Columbus. They can sleep on it tonight. Toronto Sports Radio's already buzzing as it is. And now, it's do or die. And for Toronto, man, oh man, I do feel bad for Leafs fans, because that's just a rough one. You're number 8 team. You're definitely in a top 3 division squad going into the playoffs. You probably would have played Tampa in the first round if the format had stayed the same. Petro, I'm not sure which Petro, or do you mean Jeff Petrie? Not sure on that, Jeff R. Felix, do you think Dubas gets another year as GM? How long does he have left on his contract? Maybe short leash next season? I don't know. He's got his guy in there. It depends. You know, it depends on how I think next season starts. You know, it's been one more year for the Oilers since they broken San Jose in the playoffs. Like what, 3 years ago, with the Oilers needing another first round pick. You know, that's the thing, folks. That's the thing. And let's put this up. So the results here tonight. Vancouver wins 3-0. They lead the series 2-1. Flyers look like they're going to have at least one of the top two seeds in the East by virtue of their 3-1 victory over Washington. Vegas will be the 1 or 2 seed for the West after a 6-4 win over the Blues. Toronto is facing elimination tomorrow with a 4-3 loss in overtime to the Columbus Blue Jackets. And Calgary shuts out Winnipeg 4-0. They win the series 3-1. They are the number 8th seed. They'll move on. As for tomorrow, here's your lineup. We're back to 6 games tomorrow, folks. 9 a.m. The Panthers will try to force a Game 5 against the Islanders. The Islanders can finish that off. That game's on NBC at 9 a.m. At 11:30 on the NHL Network, you have the Predators and the Desert Dogs. Oh, excuse me. Arizona can close out that series. If that's the case, I will definitely be bugging Jerk to get on after tomorrow night for sure. If Arizona pulls that off. At 1 p.m., Pittsburgh will try to force a Game 5, or will Montreal be one of the 12th seed teams, a team that's not supposed to be here, go to round 1 in the Stanley Cup playoffs? That'll be at 1 p.m. on NBCSN. Immediately after that, the Chicago Blackhawks will take on the Edmonton Oilers. The Blackhawks could be another 12th seed that can move on to the Stanley Cup playoffs and would guarantee face either Colorado or Vegas in round 1. At 5 p.m. on the NHL Network, wow, they have the Leafs on at 5 p.m. on NBCSN. All of a sudden they don't get any billing. So at 5 p.m. on the NHL Network, Toronto against Columbus. Columbus has a chance to close out that series and stun the hockey world on that one. And at 7:45, the last game of the night, Vancouver can try to advance to round 1 over the Minnesota Wild. So essentially, once again, folks, we could know all 8 qualifying teams, moving on in the playoffs, and then we're just waiting on the round robin to finish up. It's that crazy if everything comes with it tonight. So, that being said, we'll call this a mini wraparound. How's that?
Have the goddamn common courtesy to give him a reach around.
It's wraparound. Now, here's my thing, and hopefully you are hearing me. If not, let me know in the chat. We here at Teal Town, USA, are collectors of hockey. Rocket has a boatload of trinkets. AJ has a bunch of jerseys. I mean, you've seen the wall of pucks and the memorabilia behind him. Jerk is same with jerseys and such. And we all like good deals. Of course, there's this. If you were to see the other side of the room, you'd see the closet of game-worn jerseys that I have collected over the years. We've always said that, to call people out when there's some stuff out. And of course, we've always talked about Fanatics and their wonderful merchandise that they have. Yeah, okay. And we did some digging into their autograph memorabilia department, otherwise known as sportsmemorabilia.com. AJ did the heavy lifting on this one, and a couple of others. helped out, including myself, in regards to the autograph services that they have on Fanatics. And AJ put together a great post on tealtownusa.com about it. So please check that out. It's very eye-opening for sure how Fanatics is selling fake merchandise, maybe with real signatures. But it's pretty nasty. To me, I want authentic stuff on authentic stuff. So check that out at tealtownusa.com. Let's see. This postseason kind of has the shades of like 2 years ago, I think, when all the first round upsets happened. Yeah, you're right. I remember, what was it, 2006? I remember the in the West, the top 4 seeds were eliminated in the playoffs, to the point where in round 2, the Sharks were the number 5 seed and had home ice throughout the rest of the Western Conference playoffs. Of course, second round, they got eliminated by Edmonton. Yeah, great, terrific. Here's a trivia question for you. Down the road, folks, of the last 3 playoff victories the Oilers had in their last 14 years, 2 of them are against the San Jose Sharks. Conference quarters in 2006 and the Western Conference first round in 2017. The only other one was the 2006 conference final against Anaheim. Redonkulous. Seriously, redonkulous. So, all right. Well, any other comments in the chat? I'll look around there. I am not going to show that, Marty. I'm not going to show that, because if you try that and it doesn't work, I don't want anybody giving us crap. But that's hilarious. And Hernandez, let's be honest, Vegas might make it to the Cup because the PDB, but no way they're going to win it because they have PDB. He can get you there. He can't get you finished there, but he's got a good squad. So check that out. Felix just put the link in the chat for the for our selling counterfeit sports memorabilia link in the chat for tealtownusa.com. So check that out. With that, I think that's it. We'll be back with you tomorrow. We might know half of the playoff field by tomorrow. We do know Carolina has made it in the East so far. We also know that Calgary has made it out West. So definitely we have 5 of the pieces so far. We're waiting on 3 of them from each conference, that is. And we'll be back with you following those games tomorrow. So if you missed anything or you want to watch this again, check us out at tealtownusa.com or your favorite podcatcher. Of course, these shows are not going on the podcast service. They're just for visual overnight. We don't want to overload our podcatching service. But definitely check out our recent interviews. We've interviewed Doug Wilson, we've interviewed John Scott, Randy Hahn, Dan Rusanowski, Rob Zettler, Jamie Baker, you name it. I think we had another shark in there. Mario Ferraro. We've checked that out. So definitely check that out on tealtownusa.com or your favorite podcatcher, wherever you get your shows. So we will be back with you. Oh, you don't get that. We'll be back with you on tomorrow night. Like I said, we might find out who the bottom seeds are by then and where they're going to stand. But it remains to be seen, because that's why hockey is such the greatest game on earth. You just never know. Don't give me this any LA crap in the NBA where you already know who's playing in the Western Conference Finals. Doesn't happen in the NHL. That's what makes it the best and makes it more fun. So I'm out of here. Appreciate it. Follow us on the social. Follow me at Puckeye14 on the Twitter and the Instagram. And again, follow us on the social. Hit that subscribe button, please. It helps us immensely. We appreciate it. Check out all our content. And until tomorrow, keep it real, keep it teal, keep it real teal. Thanks, everyone. Have a great night.